Satsuki looking for that damage, finds him on the Diablo. Diablo forced it back out as their health drops low. The Immortal now is at 25%.
Back down Yo on the Grey Man, gonna be the first to fall. But is it ETC? No, that's Malthael up there. A triple.
The ley line used in the back, catching 3 people on top. That followed up by the APOC and the lurking on. Catching 2, but this time on is gonna be the first one.
Wow, did you see that mosh pit? 4-man mosh pit while on a conveyor belt. That was like a regular sushi.
There's the lead, catches him in the mud pit. Time trap does pop. Mosh pit goes out. Ruben's still in trouble. Pops to stay a while and listen, but it's not going to matter.
Here comes the Bloodlust on the backside, but the duo gets thundered and then stunned. Oh my goodness! The combo!
Getting shrunk down, ETC getting killed. He becomes dog food for the Grey Man.
I didn't think they had a chance. I thought it was all over. We said all or nothing, and they got absolutely everything.
Howdy, welcome to twitch.tv/LTaquito. I'm here with my wonderful co-casting host, Captain Skippy. I was about to move the dog over on top of the window, but she's bigger here, so we'll leave it how it is. We have a wonderful E-West match for you today. Flint Tropics versus DeepFriedMingBalls. This is a replay cast, so please no spoilers. We're going to try to keep it as spoiler-free as possible. That includes hiding the length of the game, things like that. I don't know how many games this goes to. I don't know much of anything, but if you watch my streams, you know that already. I don't know much of anything. Captain Skippy, how are you doing today? Thanks for joining me.
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, Taco.
Glad to do it.
Sorry.
Oh, no, it's alright. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this game 1. No, Lid, you haven't casted this. This is, I mean, oh, it might be. So, Lid, I think you did cast DFMB versus Flint Tropics, but they're in a double round robin division. So, they play everybody twice. Because E-West is a smaller division. So with that, Captain Skippy, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alrighty then, let's jump into the game. You're not going to see the drafts on the loading screen again so that I can hide the pause timer or whatever. But we do have Li Ming, Mirrodin, Falstad, Sonya, and Brightwing versus Varian, Anduin, Leoric, Mephisto in May. Earlier, I was kind of looking at this. Let me go ahead and hit that pause and bring up the draft. And so looking at these team comps before we get in, we'll just do our own little mini draft real quick. Which comp do you prefer when you're looking at these? How do you think that's going to work out? Skippy. Captain? Captain? Skippy?
Either is fine, Taco. But honestly, I think the blue team has a much stronger draft here. I don't like the whole Varian with Mephisto thing. I just don't like Mephisto in general. But that's more of a personal preference rather than, you know, a diehard silver logic. But yeah, I mean, going into this, the Sonya is more versatile, the Falstad's more versatile, Mirrodin's more versatile, and so in theory, blue team will just be stronger in a lot more situations than the red team.
I do think that blue team will have a better, at least delay on objective. I don't know that they can bully their way in. I do like the Mephisto Leoric May combo, and I think that'll provide a lot of team fight presence, but I don't think that red team can get a whole lot of action on the objective because of that Li Ming and that Falstad without having to commit to a full 5v5 beforehand. But I don't like the Varian with this comp either, like you were saying. I think some other offlaner, some extra wave clear would have been good for them. But I think the core 3 out of this team is really strong compared to really that Li Ming Sonya. I think is the core of the blue team. So let's see how that works out. I am very interested in it. So with that, let's get this going again. We have Aesop on Li Ming. That is the striker Li Ming. It's a banned skin, but that's okay as long as the other team doesn't complain. Car Rascals on the Sonya. Soul Limit on the Falstad. Blood Beast on the True Terror of the Skies. Bright Life Fairy Dragon. And Big Balla Teabag on the Mirrodin. That is Flint, Tropics, Captain Skippy. Who do we have over here on DeepFriedMingBalls?
And on the red side, we have Hooli playing Leoric, Sill playing something that I can't see because they're clipping into each other, Silver Arrow playing Mephisto, the Head on Varian, and Elixir on May.
Yeah, and that Sill is the healer on Anduin. This is your game one. Flint Tropics, that's the wrong button, versus DeepFriedMingBalls. Early on, a little bit of engage here. The sorry, I always end up getting distracted and laughing at chat. A little bit of engage going on, but I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of killing happening. There is a dwarf toss for Muradin trying to get it out, and the Falstad.
And May's almost able to pick up that Falstad there. It was very impressive considering how far back he was.
Yeah, early kills are really nice to get, especially on a map like this where you can force teams to miss XP on the very large map. The level 1 talents are showing. Again, I don't really talk too much about talents in general unless they're interesting off the beaten path type of stuff. So if you, the audience, or you, Captain, see something that you want to address in the talent screen, please let me know.
Will do.
And we already have the copy pasta from the Silver Arrow fan club. Welcome to the Silver Arrow fan club. And both teams picking up their siege camps early and hopefully often. These siege camps are super impactful throughout this Alterac Pass map. The objectives being an off-lane channel that you have to guard for a while. Getting any passive lane pressure that you can will always have a huge impact here in Alterac Pass. We get Mephisto shading in onto 3, trying to get some extra damage out, but Muradin focusing in on the Varian. Not really going to be a huge exchange of HP. But still, both teams are reminding each other that we're here. We do get a taunt on Muradin as the phase shift comes in. Muradin gonna jump out. So this is a taunt Varian with a Leoric and a May. And I think that's going to feed into your dislike for the Varian in this draft, right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely I feel like they could have gone with a Medivir tank for this composition. Especially since Leoric is going to be on his own most of the game. They can kind of get away with a more aggressive tank. But I mean, that being said, the Varian isn't the worst pick here. I mean, certainly could have picked a lot worse.
And a big charge onto the Falstad. Falstad trying to barrel roll away, but the charge goes with, and then the taunt on Falstad gonna prevent him from getting away. May picks up the kill, and I think we're gonna see a lot of those taunt engages to hold people still for Endurance of Hate with the May Leoric combo. And I think it's just going to be devastating. Another taunt out. It's a short cooldown onto the May, and a nice slide through, bumping Muradin back into the stun. A well-executed combo, but Muradin, big beefy boy, going to get out with a little bit of health, and that second wind going to heal him up real quick.
And the Brightwing's going to heal him up even quicker.
I almost hate to see heal cooldowns wasted on a Muradin that's not in combat. Almost.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you don't have anything else planned for it, might as well, right? Especially since it looks like there's a team fight breaking out around mid.
Yeah, I mean, Brightwing Z is a long cooldown, but the healing is passive, so either way, I guess. And there is the Shade again, trying to get a little bit extra damage. Both teams looking for these level 7s. Neither team really looking at objective, but right as I say that, DeepFriedMingBalls said, Taco's casting, let's make him a liar today. And they get that channel started. Li Ming not able to pressure. I think Li Ming really wishing this first objective was topside.
Agreed, those close quarters are not going to do her any favors, especially when she's trying to hit her skill shots.
Yep. A very nice zoning blizzard from the May. Falstad coming in with that lightning rod. That's what it's called. Level 7s are out. Let's take a look. Is Li Ming Calamity? No, full orb build for those delays. That channel does get finished. First objective over to DeepFriedMingBalls, and Anduin does finally take a level 7 talent. Looks like Sill's been playing with my team's healer too much and doesn't like picking talents on time, I really hope she's watching so that I'm not throwing shade behind her back. I'll say it to her face anyway. Big taunt onto the Muradin, but the Hin getting low, getting peppered down by the Li Ming orb resets. But Mephisto jumping in saying, Li Ming, I see you, I see you. And it looks like that spell armor being enough to keep Li Ming alive.
That's not going to stop Mephisto from trying the same thing again, though.
Oh no, Mephisto's a very safe hero, especially into this team. There's nothing that Flint Tropics has to stop Mephisto from returning to his shade, like a time loop, or a cocoon, or a gorge. I think there's a few others. I think Wrath of the Angiris, I think is what it's called on Imperius.
Yeah, Wrath of the Angiris, yeah.
Yeah. Wrath of the Anger. I'm Imperius. Vala is my shield. That's a meme. So, back to this game, because that's might be the one that I'm watching. That first objective didn't really get anything. It got a tower and a wall in the bot lane. You got the full defenses in the middle lane, and it got the full, got the both towers in the gate in the top lane, but barely any fort damage on any lane out of that first objective, and that's kind of disappointing given that level 10s are hitting right now. You want to be getting a fort down. So it looks like the this more defensive looking team from Flint Tropics is kind of paying off, even though they didn't get the objective.
Yeah, that is one thing their comp definitely excels at, is playing incredibly passive. Trying to push anything into a Li Ming with that laser ults is going to be just a nightmare. Especially when it's just one big objective like what they had a minute ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of a laser ult, we do have level 10s. We've got Disintegrate on Ming, Avatar on the Muradin, Mighty Gust on Falstad, Aya on the Sonya, Blink Heal on Brightwing. That is Flint Tropics level 10s. DeepFriedMingBalls picking up Warbringer along with that taunt, and you see that going off right there. That Warbringer going to help Hin get out of trouble. Endurance of Hate on Mephisto. That huge Mighty Gust to stop the Endurance of Hate Ice Wall combo. Really good defense out of the Falstad. Light Bomb, March of the Black King. Unfortunately, I think Entomb would have worked better there. And Ice Wall pickup for the Mei. I know that was kind of disjointed, but those are the heroics for DeepFriedMingBalls. What do you think about these heroic choices?
I do kind of disagree with you on the March of the Black King. I think given that Li Ming can teleport and Falstad can barrel roll over the tomb walls, whatever you want to call them, I would almost say March of the Black King can at least guarantee a little bit of value, where otherwise they would honestly just get hard countered.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Right. Everybody can get out of it. You're right. And there is a lot of lockdown from the Ice Wall, the Blizzard, and the Light Bomb. We do see Sonya jumping on Varian's face from the top rope. Gonna knock him into the nosebleed section with a nice pull onto, no, it's icing onto the Mei. Was there a leap of faith in there too? Anduin not able to escape, probably getting slowed down. There's the leap, the missed Thunderburn, and the stun onto the Anduin is gonna be not quite enough. The slam's not gonna reach. Mephisto did die somewhere in there in that process, but Anduini going to escape with his life. What a fight coming out of Flint Tropics, but they weren't able to stop the channel in time, and maybe that's where Mephisto died to the Li Ming. But that second objective going over to DeepFriedMingBalls, they do lose Leoric up in the top lane in that process, but Spooky Boy is going to come back pretty quick. So this is the second objective in a row for DeepFriedMingBalls. Flint Tropics has some pretty good defenses. I don't think they're going to keep any of these three forts though. Where does Flint Tropics make the adjustment to get back into this game?
I mean, I think what they need to do is they need to start playing a little bit more aggressively, especially whenever objective comes up. They keep playing super passively and giving up the objective for free every time, which, if they had a better anti-siege comp like a Ragnaros or something, wouldn't be as much of an issue. But their comp is meant to go in with the Muradin leap, Sonya leap. Basically everything is meant to follow up on the tanks initiating, and so if they're split like they were, or if the tanks are just not able to initiate, then they'll lose every team fight.
Yeah, I think that's right. Oh, a nice light bomb on the Mephisto to shade over, get the stun, and the ice wall to follow. Here's the disintegrate coming from the Lee Ming. A lot of half health heroes. Mephisto jumping back in with that shade reset. He does get his cooldowns back really fast. Lion Fang finish for the variant, but Hooli looking a little holy right now. All of those wounds, but he's got 100-something health. Going to get out. Mei going to finish off the Li Ming with the Blizzard. Mirrodin jumping out less than 1,000 health during Avatar, but Brightwing goes down to the Mephisto, and that is 2 quests completed for DeepFriedMingBalls. Still working on passive quests for Flint Tropics. And DeepFriedMingBalls picks up that camp with the steal. A big brain light bomb coming from Syl onto Silver Arrow. And it makes for a really strong team fight for them. That fight surprised me. But I think you're absolutely right, Skippy, in that the Flint Tropics team is made to go in, and they're not forcing engages. They're letting themselves get engaged on, and then you don't quite literally get the jump on people.
Yeah, sorry.
You're good.
The Mirrodin Leap and the Sonya Leap are much better used for initiating rather than healing. And so anything they can do to start trying to take the initiative back is going to be good for them.
Absolutely. 100% agree. They do have this boss coming in. I think Falstad's going to be the lead on boss clear. Leoric coming to pick up the siege camp as this bottom set of objectives is starting to get ready. And it looks like Mei either wanting to get some clear or maybe just going for... Yeah, the team left her behind, so they're not looking at boss here. They're going to get a head start on the objective.
Yeah, and this head start on the objective is going to force the blue team to try to initiate again. Oh, but speak of the devil.
There is the leap and then the charge. Silver Arrow getting the light bomb, but jumping away. A little bit of miscommunication there, but the ice wall coming to the rescue. Big peels on peels from the Mei. She's going to get her team out of there. And Flint Tropics looking to get this objective, but Silver Arrow coming back in. A lot of follow-up from the beefy support. There is the March of the Black King coming out. And Flint Tropics having to back up, losing a lot of health there.
Yeah, and I mean, this is one place where the Leoric pick is just really not working out for the red team. That either between the Entomb or the March of the Black King, either way, the Leoric ult is just always going to get countered. Falstad's Mighty Gust will just hard counter that March of the Black King.
Yeah, I think so. That isolates the Leoric really hard. I think maybe they would have wanted to try the Entomb and play for that level 20 Silence Entomb, because then there's no escaping it. 3-man ice wall onto everybody except for Li Ming and Sonya. Falstad and Mirrodin both going to fall. Sonya jumping in for the counter CC to stop the follow-up. There's a light bomb onto the Hin as he's going the wrong direction, but the Blizzard's going to isolate the Sonya. Brightwing coming in to save the Sonya, but Li Ming going to fall to the huge wave in the middle, and Leoric picking up that Sonya kill. That is a 4 for nothing. Beautifully executed ice walls coming out of this Mei, and the follow-up from the Varian, mainly the Anduin Mephisto follow-up, coming in huge. They're going to go ahead and finish up this channel.
And this is going to be a massive wave for Brightwing to try to deal with here. Even just the minions in middle lane are going to prove incredibly difficult.
Yeah, the cool thing about this map is the core heals, and the core has armor based off of keeps. So DeepFriedMingBalls can't just try to end right here. They can't go in, push the core. They might be able to, but 40% core armor is a lot of protection. So they're gonna have to flank the sides and pick up some other keeps. But a huge ice wall, Endurance of Hate going in on the ice wall, and it didn't look like it was able to spread. That's a weird interaction with the ice wall. Not sure how that's going to work out, but the Sonya is pulled away from the rest of the team on the retreat and going to get picked off. 5v4 siege on this core, and it looks like they're just going to go straight for core and let the objectives shred the armor on their own, and then just as I say that, they peel off to go for these keeps, because I can never make a prediction correct in the moment. A half-second prediction. No.
You know what they say, hindsight is 20/20.
Yes. But now it's 2021. Wait a second. I think that's the point. Another Shade Light Bomb. And as he comes back, dropping that Durance of Hate. Falstad getting stuck in the ice wall, but not going. Oh, a big leap coming back out from the Sonya. This core is at half health with no keeps, though. And a big siege coming in. 5-man siege onto this core. They're going to try to finish the game right here. It looks like Falstad, Gus, not going to quite be enough. Looking low. 3-level lead for DeepFriedMingBalls. It looks like they don't even finish picking their level 20s. As this core at a 5,000 health and falling. Maybe. Li Ming with the laser for the defense. And that is the core. Game number 1 over to DeepFriedMingBalls. Sonya picking up the kill on Leoric right there at the end. Say you get that trait value for the rest of this game. See if I can get. There's a stat screen. Here's talents. Any builds that you think are interesting here, Skippy?
I can't see him on my end, so not at all, Taco.
Fantastic. Okay, your tab button's not working.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, yep, no, now it's working.
Okay. Here for you. I think the Lion saying with the taunt's a little bit interesting.
Yeah, most people usually go for the heroic strike refresh.
The overpower resets on it.
Yeah, most people do that because you can basically guarantee minus 40% healing on anyone you taunt. But I mean, it's, we can't really complain. They won in a pretty convincing fashion. 4 kills to 11.
Yeah, absolutely. It was pretty dominant. I do think that's kind of a low amount of kills for a Div E game. There was a lot of not trying to fight going on from both teams. Well, I think Flint Tropics was pretty good at disengaging most of the time. I think a lot of that credit goes to to Soul Limit with the Gust. But I think the Varian May was a really hard engage to get away from.
Yeah, and I mean, even when they were able to disengage, they weren't able to re-engage because they'd used all their mobility tools to get out. Like, Sonya's leap is on, 60-second cooldown. Muradin's is definitely not as long, but it's still, a 10-second cooldown. And as soon as they've disengaged, they can't go back in until those cooldowns are refreshed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that the stat page also tells a really interesting story. Li Ming having almost as much damage as a Mephisto. Mephisto, a really dominant character in this game, but Li Ming with those orb resets, able to pepper continuously, even without getting full resets from kills. So I think maybe that orb build might have helped out a lot. I'd be interested to see how this game changes with something like Calamity, able to follow up and maybe finish kills. Could have been something interesting, because there were a lot of times that Red Team was about quarter to half health as well when they were able to get away.
Yeah, they definitely didn't have the follow-up they needed to finish any of the kills.
Yep. All right, so that is game number 1. We're going to get game number 2 set up here in just a second as the puppy cam goes across the screen. So seeing that, do you think we're gonna see any? We can't even see the bans, but maybe we can infer. Do you think there's gonna be any respect bans from that game 1 that carry over into game 2, forcing some different hero picks?
I mean, I will say that Leoric was very well played on the side of Hooli. That was not an easy matchup to play into, and he still managed to get value out of it. So maybe they'll respect ban it. Maybe they'll try to ban out some disengage on the side of the red team, but we'll have to see.
Okay. Also, looking at something interesting here. You can't see the match details yet, but it looks like DeepFriedMingBalls did substitute Miss So-and-so in for Syl here in this second game, bringing Miss So-and-so in as the healer. So I'm interested to see that adjustment. I think they're pretty good at picking up at getting their players rotated in and getting them all some game time. So I'm excited to see that. Captain Hin also letting us know about the bans for that game. Flint Tropic banned Joe, Gaz, and Valera against them, so sticking to target bans. And DeepFriedMingBalls banned Lucio, Lenara, and Chromie. So it doesn't look like there were any adjustments in bans for this second game. Let me go ahead and let you into this lobby by making the lobby happen, because
Thank you.
I'm
Appreciate
good at this game, right? All right, so we are going to Volskaya Foundry. In theory, this map was picked by Flint Tropics, and we are going to. Before we get started, I didn't mention who was picked. So what kind? And I forget now, other than one character. What do you want to see here on Volskaya? Maybe that's different from how teams drafted on Alterac. Maybe something to more focus on the objective or something like that. Is there anything you'd want to see either team adjust?
I would love to see the blue team adjust to taking the points earlier this time. Like their anti-engage comp works okay, unless the enemy team gets to the point first. You can't, disengage from a fight where you didn't have the point. And so hopefully they'll start playing more aggressively here and try to what's the word? Try to
dictate the fights?
That's totally what I was going for.
Right. Something like that, right? It's teamwork.
Yeah.
Okay, and that makes a lot of sense. I think they struggled with a half disengage, half hard engage comp with the Faust. I mean, Faustat can be used. The Gus can be used in ways to help it engage and also to help secure their secure safety. So maybe some adjustments there could have been nice. But I agree. I think having a more committing to their comp would have been really important for Flint Tropics to do. I'm interested to see also how if DeepFriedMingBalls decided that they didn't like some of the way their engages were working. The May Mephisto was really good, but again, like we were talking about before, I don't think that Leoric was as impactful as he wanted to be. So maybe we'll see an adjustment there. Just a reminder for those watching at home, also Breathelt, the Silver Arrow fan club, thank you for following. Definitely appreciate it. The objective here is a control point, one control point per lane, and they spawn in a set rotation. It spawns a protector after you cap out the control point that is valued at about a hero and a half, really, that you can drive around and try to siege with. A lot of teams don't really care about the objective all that much, and there's been a shift in the meta on how teams will direct the protector. But that's the basic setup, and that's where we're looking for these area control teams on these control points. So with that, Skippy, you ready to go?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's jump into game number 2, Flint Tropics versus the DeepFriedMingBalls. All right, so an interesting draft. We have Tychus, Muradin, Orpheus, Sonya, Stukov into Artanis, Leoric, May, Brightwing, Mephisto. So we see Brightwing and Artanis instead of Varian and Anduin, but we also have we have a very similar kind of comp on the side of Flint Tropics, and again, that's Aesop on the Tychus, Soul Limit on Orphea, Blood Beast on Stuka, Big Bala Teabag on the Muradin, and Car Rascals on the Sonya. That is the blue team, Flint Tropics. Who we got over here, Skippy?
On the red team, we have the Hen playing Artanis. We got Huli playing Leoric again. We got Elixir playing May. Silver Arrow on Mephisto, and MS so-and-so on Brightwing.
Yep, rocking that true Deathwing skin. Brightwing, we all know, is the actual aspect of death. And an early swap coming out from Hin, not quite going to hit with the Shade on Silver Arrow, trying to get a little bit extra damage out. Here are the level 1 talents on the screen. Everything looks fairly standard. But, except for Aesop opting not for the Titan Grenade at level 1. Or not Titan Grenade, the quarterback. Both teams just gonna kind of hang out in the mid lane. Never mind, as Artanis and Leoric are both split out for that soak. Looks like DeepFriedMingBalls looking for a 1-3-1, and Flint Tropics maybe looking for a 4-1 rotation. So now that we have these drafts, Skippy, what do you think about the team comps?
Well, for starters, I will say that the blue team did pick a more defensive comp this time. They brought Tychus, who can help shred those waves really well. They brought Orphea as well. But they kept the engaged core of Sonya and Muradin. So it'll be interesting to see if they can play their comp a little better than last time.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the Sonya Muradin engages are going to be really strong, and maybe a lurking arm underneath can set Orphea up really well. And I think either Orphea ult would be viable here. Teamwork getting this bottom turret camp at 135. Sonya and Tychus also going to pick up their turret camp over there on the left. You see that get picked up just now. And both teams just kind of going through the routine of getting that clear. Here's a look at the XP. Both teams staying pretty close together on it. But a hard engage onto the Leoric is going to be able to spooky walk away. Orphea landing those skill shots, getting the charges of trait, but Orphea being swapped around by the Artanis and not able to dance out of there. Orphea going to be first blood over to DeepFriedMingBalls.
Yeah, and I mean, that was honestly just a really good swap from that Artanis. It went straight from the back line on his side to the back line on their side without any issues.
Yeah, so Artanis swaps can be so devastating. Sometimes for yourself though. Yeah, you ever play Artanis and like put yourself on the wrong side of a wall?
Oh my gosh, too many times.
It's like almost like what the ability was designed for. It's not a bug, it's a feature.
Yeah, right?
I like to see Orphea and Muradin starting the siege camp early. They're gonna, well, maybe not early, but they're gonna get this marching before they go for this control point, and that's gonna put up that lane pressure in this top lane, while both teams are fighting over this control point here in the mid. Now that we do anticipate some team fights, let's drop the talent screen. But DeepFriedMingBalls leaving just the Brightwing alone and rotating down. Okay, as Flint Tropics does come into the control point, the rest of DeepFriedMingBalls mostly coming up to protect the Brightwing. But it is 5v4 right now. There's a miss swap onto the Tychus, and a phase shift going out onto Leoric, going to be enough to save a life. But DeepFriedMingBalls having to back off because Silver Arrow is up top, clearing the wave so that the DeepFriedMingBalls camp pushes with that blue Assault Trooper camp gone.
And this is going to be interesting to see. Blue team now has the point, and so their comp should, in theory, work a lot better in this situation.
I think so too.
Sorry.
I was just agreeing.
Yep.
So we do see a lot of that Lightning Nova coming out, getting a lot of damage on a lot of heroes for Mephisto. And you see him getting those resets because he's hitting so many of these abilities. But Orphea getting a kill onto the Mei. That is their second kill. Now 2 for 2 on the score. Mei and Sonya exchanging lives. Tyke is going to fall as well. And DeepFriedMingBalls just coming back into this point with a vengeance. Let's see if I can find the screen I'm looking for. That's right, it was Leoric that did die earlier. Or maybe I missed it. Who knows?
No, Leoric did die earlier, but because the blue team didn't leave the area, he was able to respawn rather quickly.
Okay, it was in that fight.
Yeah, no, he got picked like about 30 seconds before, and he was still able to respawn on time.
Oh, okay. chat having a discussion about who the Lord of Terror is. Brightwing is the terror of the skies. Let's be real. The true terror of the skies. Because I believe that is the other title for Deathwing other than the aspect of death and the pooper of fire and things like that. So this first protector does go over to DeepFriedMingBalls. They're going to go ahead and go top. They're going to get that health fountain and a little bit of damage on that fort. That's going to give them a large advantage going for the second protector. But Flint Tropics staying in, trying to get some extra damage out and stopping DeepFriedMingBalls from leaving. But they said, all right, you want to fight? Fine, we'll fight. We have a 4v5 now, though. No, Tychus is headed down to catch Soak mid. And Flint Tropics realizing that they're still on the taking more damage side of that exchange. So they're going to go ahead and disengage and go down to mid as well. Hooli find himself in a rough position, but Artanis coming in with the suppression pulse to help him out. And it looks like Soul Limit going to get caught, almost caught in that ice wall. But Orphea goes down before that happens. Another pickup for the Mephisto, and they are up level 10s as that ice wall would have indicated, and the suppression pulse. So we have suppression pulse, blink heal, endurance of hate, March of the Black King again, and the ice wall. Very similar setup coming out of DeepFriedMingBalls as they go on to this heal camp. And then now that Flint Tropics has picked up their level 10s, Commandeer Odin, Avatar, Eternal Feast, Leap, and Massive Shove. This fight just breaking out after the support camp. Really extended fights coming out that I think are favoring DeepFriedMingBalls, whereas Flint Tropics wants quick bursty fights, get what they can and get out. But with these level 10s picked up, we have the Siege from Commandeer Odin, we have Massive Shove to help separate out the team. How do you think these heroics adjust the course of this game? You, my friend, are muted. Oh no, Skippy, did I lose you? I imagine Skippy is dealing with a household, something came up, animals or family or something. So I'll ask him about these heroics in a little bit. But another turret going over, actually getting stolen by Flint Tropics. A really aggressive play there. But they're not getting out. They're going to go ahead and jump back in, get an engage onto the Silver Arrow. There's the Eternal Feast. Ice Wall to help disengage. Orphea not able to follow up her own Eternal Feast. There's a Endurance of Hate coming out. Going to catch the Muradin. Muradin looking low, but the Q quest finished for Mephisto. And Stukov goes down. So an overstay by Flint Tropics. They got what they wanted. They got a little greedy and weren't able to finish the kill. Really, really strong defense. Or counter engage, starting with that ice wall, and that just flipped everything around on Flint Tropics. Looks like Tychus is going to fall here as well. Mirrodin at about half health, not able to get the save.
Power routed to the terminal. Control it, and you can pilot the protector.
And Skippy is still muted, so...
Hey, sorry about that.
Oh, that's alright.
The RTC connecting glitch for a minute.
Oh, okay. No worries. So now that these heroics have been picked up for a couple levels, how do you think that adjusts these fights?
I mean, definitely the suppression pulse is gonna work wonders against both Orphea and Tychus. And that March of the Black King again this time, even though it's into two characters you can't escape, is a little questionable. But you know, I will defer to I don't even know what person's playing Leoric.
Hooli.
I'll defer to Hooli's judgment on this one, but.
Well, here's a great opportunity for what would have been a 2, but the March of the Black King gonna catch 3. There's a Blizzard going out. Ice Wall has yet to be used. Endurance of Hate still coming off a cooldown though. But Stukov finishes his Pustule quest, but goes down in the process. Sonya and Orphea going to die as well. The rest of the team caught in that ice wall. After it comes out, Blizzard getting a great stun, going to follow up in a well-executed 5-for-0 team fight in favor of DeepFriedMingBalls, and they get the objective to march in on this keep instead of going bot to get some pressure for that third win condition objective. Fetid Touch is what it's called. Yeah, I think that I think that blind on the Orphea is going to be really strong too. That's something that when I have a blind character, I'm looking for her having those charges on her passive to blind and stop the auto attack heal from coming out and that extra damage. Really, really good keep take there for DeepFriedMingBalls. That having that keep down in that lane is going to be a really strong presence as the next two objectives are nowhere near top. And they're going for an extra fort here in mid, gonna let bottom fall naturally, it looks like, through, or I guess more organically. But they're gonna walk down. They don't have much time left on the protector. It's not gonna get any damage onto that fort, really. And Flint Tropics trying to get some extra clear. But never mind. With, wow, the fort does fall right after the protector expires. So again, Taco doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Nice swap for Artanis. There is the Eternal Feast. Going to keep on going. That's lasted for a long time. Hinted May just kind of catching their hitboxes into it. But Stukov and Orphea going to fall in their own backline while the Eternal Feast is zoning the rest of DeepFriedMingBalls kind of into Flint Tropics there. And so a 2-for-0 pickup there. These team fights are looking so close to really good for Flint Tropics, but just the placement of things might be a little bit off, or the engages aren't happening how they expect. There's a Dirge of Hate into an Ice Wall, so that's going to be a little bit of counter synergy there. As we have a 2v2 that's rapidly DeepFriedMingBalls coming to the rescue. There's Artanis jumping in, getting the swap. Gonna kill the Tychus. I thought for sure Mephisto was going to die there, but instead a rapid response from DeepFriedMingBalls in a 2-for-0, and they steal the turret. What left is there to happen, Skippy?
I mean, at this point, all they really need to do is continue sieging these towers and taking camps across the map. The longer they can keep Tropics out, the more of an advantage they'll have come late game.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm not sure that there's a whole lot that Flint Tropics can do at this point, down 3 levels in a talent tier, without DeepFriedMingBalls effectively giving them a mistake to capitalize on. So at this point, I do think it's DeepFriedMingBalls' game to lose, but always looking for a game 3, so maybe Flint Tropics can make something happen, force out some positioning, maybe a massive shove or something to set up an unbalanced team fight.
Yeah, and I mean, the Eternal Feast just really hasn't been getting any value so far in this game. Every time they drop it, everyone on the DeepFriedMingBalls knows to just start diving the enemy team, because they know that the Eternal Feast can't be cast on their own team anymore to try to disengage from a fight. That's a very herky-jerky way of saying what I'm trying to say, but
it's alright.
We got there eventually.
I'm getting another
Yeah,
terminal.
so this third terminal is typically the win condition. Usually you don't go past 4 for sure. I've had 7 at one point. But this third objective going to be really big. Nice silence onto the Orphea. And I'm not even... Oh, from the Brightwing. Silence on the Orphea. She does finish her E-Quest. But Sonya and Orphea and Stukov are going to fall in that process after Artanis goes down. So 4 for 1 and 5 for 1 on that fight. Artanis being the Hen going down. I'm pretty sure DeepFriedMingBalls is okay with losing the Hen in that fight, if for no other reasons than he is the captain. But going to march through this keep, ignore objective. It looks like they're going to go for this core right now. Level 20s have hit and 5-man down, looking to finish this game, or maybe not.
Blue team's core is under
I mean, it
attack.
definitely does make sense to play it a little safer here, especially with the blue team coming off their respawns right now.
Yeah, it looked like they had enough time to maybe do it, but definitely cores are a really prime spot for overstaying. So I agree. The safer play here is probably the right play. We do have a 4-5-man engage onto this invade on this camp. Ice Wall onto the Tychus. Mirrodin jumps into the back. There's a suppression pulse on top of the Eternal Feast. Eternal Feast going to stop pretty quick. big silence coming out. Orphea and Sonya both go down. Leoric finishing off the Tychus, being the true janitor and cleaning up the battlefield. Stukov's going to fall as well. Artanis finishing off the Muradin. And that should be the game right here.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the blue team just couldn't get a team fight that entire time, and it led for a rather quick game.
Yeah, I think the 26-3 kill count says a lot about it. The XP level 24 to 17 says just as much. We'll pop up some stats. There's the damage discrepancy is actually not that large. I think the more notable isn't the top damage to top damage, but the second and third damage to the respective second and third damage. Let me sort by damage and you'll see what I mean. The supporting roles, the bruisers, the second damage dealers, bringing in a lot more damage for DeepFriedMingBalls than for Flint Tropics. Now, a lot of that comes with the level advantage. A lot of that comes with winning the team fights. But at the same time, when you're winning those fights so strongly, there's not as much health to get healed back. A lot of things that play into it, but the damage overall, heavily favoring DeepFriedMingBalls. If we go back to these talents again, is there anything that stands out to you?
I will mention that with 2 bruisers and a tank, the Artanis definitely made the right call by going into that auto attack build to try to get some more damage on the board. And I mean, it paid dividends. He was able to stay on that Orphea almost all game and just make her life absolutely miserable.
Yeah, I think so too. I guess the other build is more of a defensive build for Artanis, and yeah, I don't think that would have been appropriate here. And we get a full life drain build coming out of Leoric, which makes sense with the Death March at level 20. Just in general, it's damagey, but I still feel like that build is a supporty damage build, if that makes sense. I'm not super familiar with Leoric. I know what his trait is, which makes me a bad Leoric, but other than that, yeah. Interesting builds. But I don't know that they're too out of the ordinary. I think that Hush on Brightwing did a lot of work there too. We do have the captain in the chat. How do you feel about grabbing an interview? Also, this was match number 1 of today. I'm going to do another matchup here in a few minutes. Another replay cast: Protectors of Ire versus Phoenix Rising Onyx. Definitely hang out and stay around, Captain Skippy. If you want to co-cast that one with me as well, you are welcome to. If you don't, you're also not obligated to.
Yeah, I think I will try to get some sleep before work, I think.
No worries, man. I'm so sorry that the Observer thing didn't work out, but next time I'm doing a live cast, I'm gonna hit you up.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Do you want to hang around for the interview real quick though, if you have any questions to ask?
Sure, let's do it.
All right. Silver Arrow looks like is who we're going to get for this interview. Silver Arrow, we are in a lobby that I don't think you can see. If you'll get into a coin toss lobby in NGS, I can move you in with us though. See if I can find my button again. Waiting on us. Oh, that's not a coin toss lobby. Silver Arrow, congratulations on the sweep. Really good set coming out of you guys. The level difference, the kill difference in the second game, telling a really I guess evident story about game number 2. Game number 1 was a bit closer, a little bit harder to siege into some of that damage and whatnot. Overall, what was the team's impression of the match?
Real quick, can you hear me? I just set up a new mic, so.
Yeah, I can. Let me turn you up a little bit.
So Flint Tropics is a team. They're the first team we ever scrimmed against.
I say that's correct. They are a team.
Yeah, they handed it to us pretty hard the first time we met them. So we kind of shopped around quite a bit on how to counter them or how to play against some of their comps. I know Aesop has a really good Kelp Lizard, so first time we played against them, we strategized against that quite a bit. And then they also have a really good Chromie, so we had to kind of ban that out to prevent it. When they used Chromie, they kind of initiated on us a lot more, so denying them the Chromie and just going into a hard initiate, I think was a call we're more comfortable with. That's generally how we run our team comps as well. So we kind of got the team we wanted to, and we weren't as worried about their initiations onto us.
Yeah, that game number 1 looked like they were going for an engage comp with that Li Ming support, but you guys also had an engage comp that seemed like that committed better. They didn't. I don't think they utilized their comp the way it was designed to play. Is that kind of what it felt like playing into that? What were your thoughts about your draft? Did you get the draft you wanted?
So they left. Normally we love rolling with Orphea. They left Orphea open, and we were kind of hesitant to pick her running against them because we know, at least in one of the prior games we played against Liquid Metal, they left Orphea open and then just picked a very heavy dive team to deal with it. So we were kind of wondering if they were going to do the same thing. So we just left Orphea and instead went with Mephisto, and just went with Mephisto and May to do our initiations. And it seemed to work out pretty well. We were able to control the flow of team fights, so they couldn't initiate on us. Again, I think your caster kind of pointed that out. We were just able to get onto the objective a little bit quicker than them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the setup for that phase. But I think the Ming was giving us serious problems, especially because we had a bit of a tankier front line. She could just pepper us all day with those big Li Ming balls. So,
yep. Deep fried even.
Yep. It was definitely a problem. I think we were able to kind of get away with it a little bit because we were able to focus down and collapse on their Sonya, Murden pretty quickly, just burst them down. So we, I think if we weren't able to get as much coordination on them, it would have been a lot more problematic as team fights went on, because a lot of those fights we were getting way under half health, and then as long as Li Ming gets one kill, she's just going to reset and just wipe your team pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely. And so y'all were able to avoid those kills pretty well. I think that kill count was like 11-4 or something. So
yeah, lots of props to our healer still for that. So
yeah, absolutely. And then, but speaking of which, you guys changed out healers for game number 2, but that as a teaser, Skippy, did you have anything about game 1 that you were interested in asking?
Not off the top of my head, but if something comes up, I'll let you know.
All right. So you changed out healers for game number 2. What was the decision process for that?
Well, not like a super technical one. We try to get everyone to play who wants to play. So we just wanted to play, and we just asked who wanted to swap out, and So was okay with swapping out. So we just swapped them. And So has a really good healer. She also plays a Deathwing pretty well, and we were thinking of going it, but we want to get a little more practice in it. We've kind of been out of touch with that for a couple of weeks, so we don't want to run that without feeling more secure about it. It is one of our favorite comps, but we just decided So has a really good she has a lot of really good healers, so we just put her on healer role for the next game.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. And it worked out great. Brightwing had a lot of good phase shifts. The Mephisto May combo is really strong. It looked like there were some. It looks like the ice wall fizzles out the Durance of Hate. Other than is that something y'all practice? Something that y'all were like, oh, this looks like it'll work well.
Times. We know there's a little bit of anti-synergy with it.
Unless maybe the Mephisto waits for the ice wall to happen.
Mephisto should be waiting, yeah. So I get very antsy, especially when I grab Hysteria,
Yeah.
the level 13 talent where you can just reset
You
your.
can just rip it.
ult. Yeah.
I was curious
So,
that you went Hysteria without taking the Region Globes.
yeah, I'm a big fan of mostly full Q build, except for the level 13, of course. The level 4 gives you a lot of mana, so
Okay.
you can keep spamming those Qs. The regen globes can be nice, but generally, I'm not. We're really fighting on objective and not in lane, so you don't get as big of an opportunity to get those globes. I'm sorry, my dog. Pick him up.
It's alright. We like dogs here.
But yeah, I think Elixir. He's our wonderful, fantastic May player. He used to always go Avalanche, and he started picking up Ice Wall, and we got a lot more practice with it. Started turning team fights a lot better in our favor, but we do need to practice that a little more with Mephisto and May. So we like to run something more like May and Li Ming with that, and just like once the Ice Wall finishes, pepper them with the big ball build, especially with an Ana in the background giving the nano boost.
Yeah, and it worked out. It was working out pretty well. Even without the nano boost, I think Mephisto is a very underrated hero right now. I think his Q build came out really strong in this last patch. I still like the W build because it's easier to pick up the Globe and Hysteria talents at 4 and 4 and 13, which I think synergizes better with that Durance because you can rip it like it has no cooldown because it effectively doesn't at that point.
Oh yeah, especially in ARAM matches that you can get those resetting all day.
Yeah. But so game number 2 was pretty dominant. I don't want to go too much into that one unless there's something in particular you think we should look at. But Skippy, I do want to give you the opportunity to follow up with anything else that you might have.
I don't have any questions at this time. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
One thing I did want to point out, because I know Skippy was talking about it, our Leo player picking March of the Damned instead of Entomb.
Yeah.
One of the reasons we decided on that, for one, Huli, our wonderful Leoric player, loves picking March of the Damned, or March of the Black Key.
Yeah. I think we've had a conversation about this before on the side about, oh, they're not telling me to go Entomb? March.
Yeah. Yeah, and we had pretty strong initiation anyway with Mephisto and May, so we weren't really anticipating needing the lockdown per se. So we wanted to get the damage up a little bit more. So we thought the March of the Black Team will kind of pump those numbers up a bit easier for us, make our life a little easier.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Get that suppression, get that healing back up. All right, cool. So that's the games. Any shout outs? Where can we find you? Does DeepFriedMingBalls have a Twitter yet? Things like that.
No, I do not believe we have a Twitter. I don't know if there's really. You can always just find us on the NGS website. Usually, if you're on the NGS Discord channel, you can always message us through there if you want. Let me see. For shoutouts, again, thank you and Captain Skippy for doing this. We like to we have a lot of people who like watching our matches, so we very much appreciate it when we get streamers streaming for us or backcasting these games. So appreciate you guys. To all of our fans out there, we have a lot of players we're very friendly with who like to come and watch our matches. So thank you guys for watching them. Let me see if there's any other specific shout outs that I guess I can do a quick shout out to our team. Just thanks for practicing everything and being flexible with our hours. And always wanting to try some fun comps, so I like that. I think that's probably about it I can think of.
I think that's everything.
Yeah, I think that's everything.
We've got we got Ming Ball Scampy, got Coconut Ming Balls.
I did want to ask, maybe you might have more knowledge on this, because I know there's been some discussion in the chat. Do you know how our Div E West playoffs work? If it's 16?
We talked about it earlier. I don't know the exact. Let me go over to the. Let me look. If I can open the right window, I'll come over to divisions.
Oh, yeah, and I forgot to do shoutouts to my mom and dad. Thanks for
There you go.
reminding her.
Oh, you know what? I think I do know how to find this. One sec. I'm gonna go through a back door and find this, and I'll tell you what it is if it works. So where there's sim here. All right. So if you go into the Div E channel on the NGS Discord and find the simulator post that DB Smiley posts, there is it has the list of the teams, and then it has the seed percentages, what percentage you have to get what seed, and there's only 4 seeds listed. So I'm going to say that Div E West is a 4-team playoff.
Okay.
Thank
you for that. I know there's a
that
lot
jive?
of there's a lot of up in the air. We don't know who all is going to get like a lot of the seeds. There's a lot of teams who pretty much none of the teams are really out of the playoffs. It's like any of them can get in, so should be exciting down the road to look forward to, especially those last 2 weeks if you want to catch any of those streams. So just shout out to the rest of the division. Hopefully it's an exciting race down the line.
Yeah, and Erdis Stardener also bringing up a good point for that. So Div E West and Div E East will have their own coastal finals, and then the winners of those will fight each other for the Div E Grand Championship. Moose the Moose, thank you, sir, for the follow.
Well, hope to see your team in the if we ever make the championship. But
Oh,
if we don't, we hope to see your team playing in it. So.
You know, I hope to see my team playing there too. We have a really rough division right now that we need to make some adjustments for. But
a lot of nice, fun people to scrim against in Div E. So.
Yeah, we like them. They're a pretty good group of people. Some really good teams that we've been playing that we want to scrim, but we're like, we expect to see you in the playoffs, so we don't want to show you anything. So it's rough. Well, Silver Arrow, thank you so much. Thanks for this opportunity for this replay cast. So good job scaring off any live casters, and we'll see you soon in the future. Skippy, I know that you said you want to go catch a nap before work. Any last thoughts before we let you go?
Not really. Just thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you for joining again. Sorry the observer thing didn't work. Glad you were able to stick around and do a co-cast, and we didn't waste too much time. Or I didn't waste too much of your time by trying to do something and it just flat out not happening. Is there anywhere that these wonderful people can find you?
Not really.
Word.
Chance to show.
All right. No worries. And Silver Arrow again, the Silver Arrow fan club just going crazy in the chat. Oh man. All right, Skippy, thank you so much. You have a wonderful day, have a wonderful nap, and a wonderful work. And Silver, I hope to see you in the chat here in a little bit. I'm going to get things to the audience and everybody else. I'm going to acknowledge a couple of things, and then I will take a short break to get set up for the next match. Give me 5 minutes, probably. All right.
Have a happy Saturday, everyone.
There you go. You heard it first. Have a happy Saturday.